Hey guys. Alright. I decided to work on some videos today. Yeah, been tired today. I don't know. I think it's emotional, to be honest. Coffee. I should have made iced coffee. My bad. Decided to do a video out of this book and the other one. Okay. So, this one, because remember in the beginning of this one, it was figuring out what to look for your property when you buy it. This one is called Planning Your Home. The key ingredient in home design is you. So, this one doesn't look like it's too long, so we'll just go ahead with the whole thing. Alright, so planning your home. A well-designed home, like a well-tailored garment, should fit your taste, needs, and pocketbook. In years gone by, homesteaders achieved this goal by designing and building their own houses. One reason they were successful was that they were guided by traditions handed down over the centuries. Another was that their homesteads evolved over many years, each generation altering and enlarging the original to suit its particular needs, so that the house slowly became better and better. Nowadays, the best way to ensure that the home you build will have the right feel for you and your family is to take an active part in the design process. This is true whether you intend to put up a vacation cabin, a family residence, a retirement home, or a full-fledged homestead. Well, obviously ours is going to be a full-fledged homestead. Learn about the design. Learn about design, look at as many homes as you can, and if you plan to hire an architect, shop carefully before you choose one. Well, we can't afford that, so we're doing it ourselves. You see, I have a lot of research to do on it still, so. And I'm going to try to share that research with you guys as I find it out. I have a fuzzy in my mouth. Choosing a building site. The main house, even if it is just a cabin or a cottage, is almost always the focal point of any site development plan. And the first step is in designing it is to decide where it will be located. Well, we've got that taken care of. To choose a site intelligently, you should have a good idea of how you want to live. Do you favor a secluded home far from the road? Yes. I don't like the corner house out here with it being right near the road. I just don't like that. I also would rather have like woods around me, but take what I got. Are you interested in the sweeping vista? Do you plan to put up a sprawling one-story structure or a more compact two-story house? Well, it's going to be a compact two-story, so. The former is useful if stair climbing presents a problem for anyone in the family. The latter is more energy efficient. Do you foresee the need for future additions and therefore a larger site? Do you require a full basement? If you do, avoid a site that will require expensive blasting of bedrock. We don't have to worry about that because as far as the basement goes, we have this here, but I am going to look into what it would cost to have an underground bunker built. And the thing is, I don't know where I would have it done because we're going to have our house out there and then all the gardens, and I still have to redo that grid. I might try to work on it, I don't know. See, I'm really tired today. Anyway, but I don't know where we would put it. Anyway, next, examine what your property has to offer. Consider the general lay of the land, the bearing strength of the ground. See Preparing the Site, page 21, and we'll read that when we get there. The soil's ability to absorb rainwater and sewage, the frost depth, the availability of drinking water, the height of the water table, the amount of annual sunlight, and the direction of prevailing winds. Pay particular attention to accessibility. How far is the proposed site from existing electric and telephone service lines? Ours is going to be off grid, so. How many feet of driveway will have to be installed to provide access to the nearest public road? Of all development costs, road building is often the most extreme. In general, a well-chosen building site should suit the terrain and provide adequate drainage away from the foundation. For this reason, gently sloping ground is usually best, but not always necessary, since pole or pier foundations that compensate for uneven ground can often be constructed. You'll have to make sure that we kind of we make sure that that's done right. Energy efficiency is becoming a basic element in site selection, just as it was in the past. Significant savings in heating can be realized by building on the lee side of a rise or by locating the building site downwind from a stand of trees. A site that takes advantage of the low winter sun, even if the home is not designed for solar heating, can reap major long-term energy savings. Well, we're going to use wood heat, so. And I'm going to have to find an area somewhere around here where somebody will let us go back on their property and cut wood. So once I finally get a truck, which I will get a vehicle this year. That is one of my goals. Most sites require some shifting of earth. Because of the labor and expense involved, thorough planning is a must. The goal is to move as little earth as possible. Of the three methods of leveling, cut, fill, and a combination of the two, the last is easiest and most economical. Using the lay of the land to your advantage. A detailed map can be an invaluable planning aid. To make your own map, you will need a plane table. A board mounted on a tripod is best, but a card table will do. Straight pins, a ruler, a spirit level, and a 10-foot pole marker, a 10-foot pole marked in feet and inches. Start by drawing the outline of your property on a large sheet of paper. If you do not have a boundary map, you can get one at the town assessor's office. The remainder of the job consists of plotting as many distinct features as possible. If your property is relatively open, you can also find the height of each point and sketch in equal altitude contour lines. When mapping, concentrate on features that will tie the map together, such as a road, a stream, a hedgerow, or an old stone wall. Either pace off the distance to each feature or else take sightings on it from two different locations. The intersection of the two lines of the sight will pinpoint the feature. Getting your ideas down on a sheet of paper. Settling on a design for a home reflects a series of compromises between the ideal and the possible. The most fundamental compromise involves size. The expense of building a home is directly proportional to the number of cubic feet of interior space it contains. In addition, a larger home requires more energy to heat and cool and is more expensive to maintain. One way to cut down on cubic feet without sacrificing comfort or floor area is to keep the ceilings low. Hang on, sorry guys. Well, we're planning on doing the loft, so, the ceilings don't have to be really high. Just, as long as we got standing room in the house. And I forgot where I was at. I am tired. Typically, a traditional 2-story farmhouse will have 8-foot ceilings on the ground floor and 7-foot ceilings upstairs, where the bedrooms are located. Another energy saver is an attic. The heat that rises to the peak of a cathedral ceiling is almost totally wasted. An attic not only eliminates this waste, but also functions as a jumbo-sized insulating space, moderating the temperatures both summer and winter. Space in houses divides 3 ways: communal, living room, dining room, recreation room, private, bedroom, studio, or study, and service, kitchen, bathroom, garage, laundry, closets. Okay, well, with us, I didn't think about the closets. No, we're just going to have our clothing storage. That's it. We have the house here, and we'll maintain a room upstairs and continue to go through things. We will have our kitchens, our pantries, our living rooms, our bathrooms, and our laundry rooms. And then upstairs, on each side, in the loft, on each side, there will be 5 rooms, with the main hallway and then a little hallway down in between each one, on each side. And one of the rooms upstairs on our side is going to be my art gallery, my art studio, and like my craft. Oh, sorry guys. And my sewing area. I think I'm gonna have like a guest bedroom up there. And then an extra room for Scott, just in case. He has to get up early, and I don't know. I'm gonna make an extra room in case we need to kind of get away from each other for a night or whatever. And then one of the other rooms is gonna be my art gallery. I thought about making the living room that, but one whole wall of the living room is gonna be bookshelves. Actually, I want to maintain one of the bedrooms upstairs in the loft for Andrew. So. I don't remember how long there was between this episode and 50th. I might actually make it easy down the road and purchase a camper trailer, a newer one, and make that into my art gallery. So, anyway. Another energy saver is an attic. Okay. Sorry, I already read that. Space in houses divides 3 ways. I already read that too. The allocation of these spaces into rooms depends on the needs and tastes of the family. When sketching your designs, pay particular attention to the way the different spaces interact. Traffic flow between areas should be smooth, and a private space should never lie in the flow between 2 communal areas. Service areas generally function as appendages to communal or private areas. The kitchen, for example, must be adjacent to the dining room, and the bathroom should be convenient to the sleeping quarters. Well, the bathroom is not going to be, so. Separation can be important. A noisy family room should be far away from an area used for studying. Home design should take into account future needs. A growing family will either have to build extra space into the original house or plan on future additions. The escalating cost of building materials argues for the first alternative, but any excess space will mean unnecessary heating bills, property taxes, and mortgage payments until the day that it is put to use. Plan your addition so that it meets the following criteria. It should not interfere with natural lighting or spoil the view. It should not conflict with local zoning requirements, and in the case of a second floor addition, the original structure should be strong enough to support it. That's the other thing I'm gonna have to like figure out how to place the supports and that kind of thing in the house. The other reason it's good for the coffee. Anyway, sorry. Drawing accurate floor plans. After a basic layout has been developed, the next step is to draw carefully scaled floor plans. Try to base room dimensions, ceiling heights, and the widths and lengths of floors on increments of 4 feet insofar as possible. This is because standard sheets of plywood and other building materials are sold 4-foot by 8-foot sheets. In addition, keep in mind the following design criteria. Closets, minimum depth for a closet is 2 feet. Counter space, allow 2 feet from the wall for kitchen counters, since most kitchen equipment protrudes about that amount. We don't have to worry about that out there because, again, it's going to be off grid. And I'm not going to have a microwave out there. We're not going to have, like, any of that stuff out there. Now, I might end up getting another generator, one that you can, plug into, and maybe go, get in the coffee maker and put that out there, But we're not going to have a microwave. We're not going to have all that stuff out there. It's going to be off grid. Doors. Interior doors are generally 2.5 feet wide. The front door should be 3 feet wide. Okay. I'll remember that. I don't know where my pen went, but. Hallways. Widths run from 2 feet up to 4 feet and more. The longer the hallway, the wider it should be. Well, I think ours is going to be at least 3.5 feet wide. Downstairs and up. So, it's okay. The smaller hallway is going to be at least 2 feet. Alright, kitchen aisles. Small is not necessarily convenient. A minimum aisle width of 4 feet is recommended when equipment is laid out along parallel walls. Increase this dimension to 5 feet if the kitchen is U-shaped. We've got, it might be 5 feet, like the whole kitchen might be 5 feet wide out there. But you know what? Again, all we're going to have in there is the wood storage, maybe a little island, the sink and counter area, our fridge or ice box, and then the L-shaped counter. The wood cook stove is going to be in the living room. And we're going to have lots of cupboards. And then we're going to have our pantry area where all the food and stuff is going to be. So, room dimensions. The ratio of room length to width should be no more than 2 to 1. Overall size varies from 5 feet by 5 feet for a small foyer to 20 feet by 30 feet or larger for a living room. In general, the bigger the room, the higher the ceiling should be. Walls. Allow a thickness of 1/2 foot, 1/2 foot, so 6 inches. Okay, I'll have to remember that. For both interior and exterior walls. If the walls are masonry, allow 1 foot. When drawing plans for a 2-story house, trace the structural elements of the ground floor and then use the outline to draw the rooms on the second floor. So they need to be at least 6 inches wide. I have to remember that. Architects and other outside aids. A home is the most expensive possession that a family is ever likely to own. With so much time, labor, and money invested, it is vital that the house plans be accurate and sound. In most cases, this means that outside design aid will have to be enlisted. The most straightforward way to get help is to hire an architect. A good architect does not come cheaply. A fee of 10% of the cost of a home is not unusual. Okay. One way to save money is to have the architect make only a basic sketch, then let a contractor work out the practical details. This procedure still gives you the benefit of the architect's ability to establish lighting, space, relationships, flow patterns, and environmental harmony. When choosing an architect or contractor, or for that matter, when doing your own designing, there is no substitute for examining actual houses. No floor plan or rendition can replace the real thing. Visit all the homes you can. Most homeowners will be happy to show you around if you explain your purpose. And note which homes give you a good feeling and which leave you a negative impression. Try to spot the features you like or dislike. Sometimes the differences between a desirable and undesirable home comes down to nothing more than carpeting, wallpaper, or furniture. Before you pick an architect or contractor, quiz them closely, especially if you are interested in energy efficiency, solar heating, or other special technology. Do not rely on verbal assurances alone. Rather, ask the architect or contractor to show you examples of his work. An alternative to hiring an architect is to purchase standard plans. Magazines containing floor layouts and artist renderings are available at building supply dealers and magazine stores. After choosing a plan, you can order complete blueprints for a few $100s. Alright, and then there's kind of like step-by-step things in here. This is number 1. Idealized 15-acre parcel illustrates how natural features of land can be put to best use. Land use principles apply to small parcels as well. Set up a table at the corner of your property line, insert a pin at a corresponding point in a map outline, and adjust the table so it is horizontal. Then site from pin to another known boundary point, a line map along the line of sight, and insert a second pin. Number 2, site from the first pin to other distinct features. Have assistant pace off distance to each point. Then have him hold measuring pole while you sight to it. Height of the table, A, minus height from the base of the pole to the line of sight. B equals the height of point. I'd have to figure this out. 3, move the table to one of the points as you have already mapped. Reorient the map as in step 1 and map more points in step 2. By setting up a table at a number of locations, you can map enough points to sketch in the topography of your land. There really isn't much topography on our property. It's just the buildings and what was the field and then the old gardens in the yard. So I've really already figured that out. It's just the house that's my biggest worry. So, layout of space can begin with a series of informal bubble sketches. Each bubble represents a particular use of space. The more of these diagrams you draw, the nearer you are likely to come to sensing the best floor plan. You should also make a point of visiting and examining as many homes as possible. Okay, well, we've already got that figured out because we just want simple, and we want it the same on both sides because Chloe and Mandy want their own space. So, even if we decided to go with a tiny home, if we could get the money for it, I would buy 2 of them and see if we could have it set as one structure. Because, and see, that's just it in building the house, because we want to build it as one structure but have 2 living spaces inside it. Sketch of floor plans. With rooms in approximately correct proportion, follows space layout. With such sketches, defects in the location of doorways and patterns of personal movement can be discerned. Bathroom and sketches shown, for example, might be considered too long a walk from the kitchen. Well, in ours, it's going to be tough crap. Because it's just where it's going to stay. Clustering of utilities, such as water lines and drain pipes in one area of the house, is advisable from point of view of economy, ease of installation, and ease of maintenance. In a typical layout, the kitchen sink and laundry room are placed back to back with a bathroom located above it. Well, I'm not switching the pantry and the kitchen, so it's gonna stay the way it is. And I still have to figure out the rainwater catchment system. I have a lot of research to do. I have a lot of research, which is another reason why I'm getting back into these books. Because I have to do a lot of research myself, and I'm gonna share it with you guys while I'm doing it, so we'll learn together. Room size should be suited to function. Large and spacious for a main communal area, small and cozy for a den or a child's bedroom. Cathedral ceilings are attractive, but they waste heat. A sleeping loft can reduce heat loss in a room with a cathedral ceiling without destroying the ceiling's dramatic impact. Build small and add on later. It's often preferable to building everything at once, particularly for a growing family. As the years pass, you will know more accurately whether you need that extra bedroom or studio. However, the initial design should take possible additions into account. Well, I don't think that's going to be possible for us because of where it's located, and I'm not going to change that because I want the house back there on the back corner of the property. Now, if we still had the other 35 acres, I would do that, but we don't. So, frame construction and post and beam construction are the two principal building methods. In the former, the house weight is borne by all segments of each wall, in the latter by separate posts. Frame construction costs less and is more widely used. Post and beam permits larger spaces and bigger windows. This is what they're talking about right there. Inexpensive tools can aid in drawing floor plans and vertical views. A triangle makes it easy to draw lines at right angles, and an architect's scale lets you choose from 12 different scales that automatically convert feet to inches, and a furniture template that helps you indicate items such as chairs, sofas, and shelves. A quadrille paper with 4 or 5 squares to the inch is handy for sketching floor plans. If the side of each square and sketch is set to 1 foot, the area of each room can be quickly determined by counting the number of squares as it encloses. Model of the house can be constructed out of foam core board or corrugated cardboard. Carefully draw the outlines of floor plans, house sides, interior walls, and roof on the cardboard, then cut out pieces along outlines, including doorways and windows, and put the model together with rubber cement or transparent tape. With a little imagination, you can place yourself in each room, sense how it feels, and make design adjustments. By setting the model outdoors on a sunny day or simulating the sun with a high-intensity lamp, you can tell how much natural lighting can be expected. It's actually not a bad idea, so I might actually look into seeing. I might see if I can get the materials and do a model of the house. So, and I'll share that with you guys and probably do a video doing it. So, the next one in here is called preparing the site. So this is when it gets down and dirty with the. We don't have any lumber or logs or anything on the property, which kind of sucks because if we did, then I would be freaking just building freaking cabin big enough to what we want and freaking putting the loft up there, basically halving it and putting the loft up there on both sides, and yeah. This does cover water supply, but I gotta figure that out. Anyway, so there you have it. That was planning your home. The key ingredient in home design is you. I'm going to go ahead and get this up there, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be... I might do preparing the site. and then I'll get into the homesteading handbook. So I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you check your subscriptions, you guys. Make sure you're still subscribed. Excuse me. And click on that notification bell. Click on all. Make sure you get all the notifications. And oh, I'm ringing the bathroom. Sorry. Yeah. Like and share the videos. Share them on all your platforms. Share them with friends, family, other homesteaders. And leave that comment. New subscriber package. Just tell me you're interested. You would like one. And I'm going to be getting some out to certain people anyway. To, get them out there. As soon as I can get the materials and everything. So, just drop, say, hey, I would like the new subscriber package, and then leave your email, and I'll get back with you. So, anyway, also you can leave comments in the videos, talk to me, you guys, and make sure you do your research because it's really, really important. You guys can see how important that research is. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.